Every Everywhere GBS.
A very good afternoon. It is 1 p.m. here in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, and you are just in time for The Ambassador, where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. I am your Ambassador Susan Nganga. To our first story, Kenya and the United Kingdom have renewed their strategic partnership, setting the momentum for more bilateral trade and investment. The pact, which succeeds the 2020-2025 framework, is also expected to deliver growth in information and communication technology. It will also cement the two countries' joint responses to global and regional peace and security. This follows a Tuesday meeting between President William Ruto and the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Starmer, at the 10 Downing Street in London. President Ruto said the partnership will double the Kenya-UK trade volume in the next 5 years. The partnership, he added, will also expand and accelerate funding for green growth and support startups in the digital space. Dr. Ruto revealed that the Nairobi Railway City project is a flagship initiative under the renewed partnership. He said the financing framework for the project was being finalized, with Kenya undertaking to provide counterpart funding. In the meeting, President Ruto commended the strong cooperation between the two countries in regional peace, security, and defense. The United Nations World Food Programme warned that millions of Sudanese refugees who have fled to neighboring countries risk plunging deeper into hunger and malnutrition as critical funding shortages force drastic cuts to life-saving food assistance. Since conflict erupted in Sudan in April 2023, more than 4 million people have fled to neighboring countries in search of food, shelter, and safety, with families often arriving traumatized, malnutrition, and with little more than clothes on their backs. Food supplies to some Sudanese refugees could run out within 2 months unless new funding is secured, according to the World Food Programme. The program officials warn that food aid for Sudanese refugees in 4 neighboring countries, Central African Republic, Egypt, Ethiopia, and Libya, is so critically underfunded that all support could cease as available resources are depleted, potentially within a 2-month time frame.
The conflict in Sudan is a regional humanitarian crisis. Over 4 million people have fled across borders to at least 7 countries in the region. WFP operations in all those countries are critically underfunded. Without further contributions, assistance for Sudanese refugees will completely cease in the coming months. Sudanese refugees deserve protection and assistance, not further hunger and despair. WFP will continue to serve them, but we need the funding to save lives.
More than 4 million people have fled Sudan's ongoing civil conflict, seeking refuge in 7 neighboring countries. Many are escaping areas facing severe hunger and a threat of famine, with conditions in host countries already strained by chronic funding shortages and inadequate shelter. The risk of malnutrition, especially among children, is rising sharply as food assistance dwindles. The World Food Programme has called for an urgent injection of $200 million over 6 months to maintain food assistance for these refugees. Now we shift the focus to the United Kingdom, where Prince William celebrated his late mother's birthday, Princess Diana, by attending a special event to mark the second anniversary of the Homewards program, a program aimed at improving the living standards of the poor in the society. He met the former British Prime Minister Gordon Brown in Sheffield.
Royal Highness the Prince of Wales has marked his late mother's Princess Diana's birthday by attending an initiative so close to her in her lifetime, a charitable program. Prince William received a heroic welcome from excited pupils as he visited Meadow Secondary School in Sheffield. The visit marked a second-year anniversary of his homelessness prevention initiative.
LGBTQ people and like the like, and I got like a youth mentor basically called Russ. It's just little things. I don't know. The main thing was just being more confident in myself. Like I wouldn't have started going to college if like I wasn't like more confident in myself. So I guess just becoming who I am, expressing myself.
Through the program, the Prince, in collaboration with others, worked to tackle the root causes of homelessness.
Over 50.
That's incredible.
So every time we...
Mostly because they haven't got lessons, I want to ask. I might be rolled out. That's a Pete and Grace to explain what it is.
That confidentiality thing, yeah.
Year team, pastoral manager, yeah, safeguarding team.
As long as you feel you've got lots of places you can go to for support, that's the main thing.
He later met with the former British Prime Minister Gordon Brown for a tour.
We want to start by talking about the power of partnership. I know we have so many very sort of critical Homewards partners in the room today. I've had the great privilege of accompanying His Royal Highness to several of the locations where partners have come together to achieve really remarkable results. And in that first year, it was all about the power of convening great people.
Stephen, thank you. Partnership's been the key part of everything that Homewards stands for. I keep telling everyone, I hope I told you two today, it's a team game. Nothing happens without us all working together and doing it properly. It's very difficult for government, it's difficult for business, it's difficult for charity sectors, partnerships, communities, whatever it is. Without the whole system gelled and working together, things won't happen as fast or as well as we'd like. And I think Lloyds Banking Group, for instance, is one. I'm sure some of them are here today. Their ability to help lend and sort the finance out really makes a big difference to the playing field. And if we can de-risk some of these opportunities.
So can I first of all congratulate Your Royal Highness and what has been achieved over these last 2 years. Because you've pioneered on the causes of homelessness, you've pioneered on prevention of homelessness, and you're now pioneering on partnerships to deal with homelessness.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Are they all coming in for a break after they finish them?
Victor Zing. The ambassador.
We're taking a short break. We'll be right back with even more.
A student can transition from other curriculums, such as the Kenyan CBC curriculum, the Pearson Edexcel curriculum, and the IB curriculum, to the Cambridge curriculum.
Today is all about models. So girl Alison, you tuned into Art Club, the best art show in the whole of East Africa.
My name is Abigail Paula, but on my socials I go with Peaches Paula. Yeah. I did procurement and logistics.
How do you deal with those negative comments? I'm a rejection.
Yeah.
How do you advise me?
But the heaviness of it, rejection is redirection.
Now you were crowned Miss Kenya UK.
Yeah.
Lakini before we get there, I want to know your journey towards that title.
Started with Miss Freshers.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I ended up being the first runners-up.
Hello, kids. Did you know a year has 31,557,600 seconds? Why do you think so? Exactly. There are 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, and 365 and 25 days in a year. We count the extra 0.25 because of leap years. When you multiply all these numbers together, you get a huge number of seconds. That's why a year feels long, but time still flies when you are having fun.
Everywhere, GBS. Welcome back to the bulletin. Now we shift the focus to the United States, where a new migrant detention center opened by U.S. President Donald Trump in Florida has sparked global controversy. Nicknamed Alligator Alcatraz, the facility is surrounded by predator-filled moats intended to prevent escapees, drawing sharp criticism from human rights groups and fueling debate over the administration immigration's tactics. Here are the details.
U.S. President Donald Trump has inaugurated a controversial new migrant detention facility in Florida, quickly dubbed Alligator Alcatraz due to its unusual security features. Located deep in a swampy region, the site is surrounded by natural moats filled with live alligators, which officials say are intended to prevent escape attempts from the compound.
We have a lot of bodyguards and a lot of cops that are in the form of alligators. You don't have to pay them so much. But I wouldn't want to run through the Everglades for long. It will keep people where they're supposed to be. This is a very important thing.
The facility has sparked widespread criticism from human rights advocates and immigration groups who argue that using dangerous wildlife as security measure is both unethical and potentially illegal. Concerns are growing over the safety and treatment of detainees, with many questioning whether international standards for detention are being met.
Someone has a notice to appear. Biden would tell them to come back in 3 years and appear. Now you'll be able to appear in like a day or two, so they're not going to be detained hopefully for all that long.
Government officials have described the design as a secure and cost-effective, though no independent inspections have been carried out to confirm those claims. As images of the site spread online, the facility has drawn international scrutiny, with many observers likening the approach to a dystopian deterrent strategy rather than a humane immigration policy.
Still on the United States, the U.S. Senate has narrowly passed President Donald Trump's sweeping tax and spending bill, known as the One Big Beautiful Bill, moving it to the House of Representatives for a final vote. The legislation combines extended tax cuts with major spending shifts, sparking fierce political debate and setting up a critical test for Trump's economic agenda. Here are the details.
The U.S. Senate has narrowly approved President Donald Trump's sweeping tax and spending package known as the One Big Beautiful Bill. Passed by a single vote, the legislation now advances to the House of Representatives for a second final vote, setting the stage for a high-stakes battle in Washington.
Legislation, we're fulfilling the mandate we were entrusted with last November and setting our country and the American people up to be safer, stronger, and more prosperous.
The bill proposes major changes to the federal tax code, including extensions to the previous tax cuts and new exemptions aimed at boosting take-home pay for working Americans. It also includes significant increases in defense and border security spending, while proposing large cuts to health and social welfare programs. The Senate voted following hours of intense debate, highlighting deep partisan divisions over the bill's economic and social impacts.
Today's vote will haunt our Republican colleagues for years to come, as the American people see the damage that is done, as hospitals close, as people are laid off, as costs go up, as the debt increases. They will see what our colleagues have done, and they will remember it.
As the bill moves to the House, both supporters and critics are mobilizing for a decisive vote, with only a slim Republican majority and growing dissent within party lines. Its path to final approval remains uncertain. If passed, the legislation would mark a defining moment in Trump's second term, reshaping fiscal policy and igniting further national debate over priorities and fairness in the government spending.
I just heard that about the Senate, and the bill just passed, and it tells you there's something for everyone. I mean, it's a great bill. There is something for everyone, and I think it's going to go very nicely in the House. Actually, I think it will be easier in the House than it was in the Senate.
And with that, we conclude our bulletin today here at The Ambassador. Follow us on all our stories at GBS TV Africa. It's updated throughout the day.